It's time for discussions. Welcome to episode 7 of the Discussions podcast. Today we've got a very insightful one on hours. How the only thing that dictates your performance in a lot of things is the number of hours you put in. So we're going to be talking about some things I wish I learned when I was younger in regards to this, and also how you can use this in your current life now. So when I was in high school, I, like a lot of people, wanted to make the top rugby team. But I had the inherent belief that I can't make the rugby team because I didn't grow up playing rugby, or I just don't have the naturally good skills of passing the ball to make the rugby team. What I should have realized, or what I've learned since, is that all it came down to is the number of hours I put into rugby, or the number of hours I put into each skill, for example. So if I was bad at passing the ball, what I needed to do is use the afternoon, use the weekends, and practice that one skill. Because if I've practiced passing the ball for 2 hours, I'm going to be a little bit better at it. And if I've done that for a couple days in a row, if I've done 10 hours of just passing the ball, I might be twice as good at that one skill as I was before. So if I wanted to make the top rugby team, what I need to do is use one of the summers to just focus on that one activity and put the hours in. The number of hours that I put into rugby was directly correlated to my rugby ability. And that's something I didn't realize. I thought it was a natural ability, or something that I just wasn't capable of, or something that I missed out on. Where I did use this knowledge, or this technique of just hours in equals results out, was in the academic field. I remember our dean of students at the time sitting us down and saying, if you want to graduate with the top result, which we called an OP1, it's going to take 17 hours of study each week on your own. And this number just seemed crazy. I think on average, if people study 2 hours a night, you might get 10 hours a week. And that's a long shot for students that have to go to school all day and then do sport after. So the number 17 scared me. I thought it was a bit crazy, but I said, I really have the goal of topping this year in academic results. So I'll try it. I'll crank up my numbers and I'll see what happens. So I went home and thought, how am I going to do this? Studying is so difficult, especially when I'm tired, especially after sports training. So what I created or developed at the time was this system of a weekly schedule. I would set myself hours that I wanted to study. And every half hour or every hour, I'd fill a box in, and it would give me a little bit of a reward. And lo and behold, it was really hard at first, but I was able to get up the numbers from 9 hours a week to 12 hours a week to 17 hours a week. Or not 17, I think I capped off at 14 or 15 hours a week. But by tracking the hours put in, I was given the exact result I was after. I was able to, this was in year 11, and I was able to finish with the highest academic score at the end of the year. And I can safely say it's because I studied more than everyone else. I also use this in my current sporting life. I signed up to a BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competition, and I signed up for the expert level, but at the time I wasn't ready. I had 30 days until the competition, and I said I could seriously get injured. I was worried about getting in a leg lock and getting hurt. It's definitely happened to me in the past. But I said, if I do a 2-hour training session every single day up until the competition, I'll be ready. 30 days, I gave myself 1 or 2 days off, but in effect, it was around 50 hours of preparation, of training. And I wasn't going to do that competition unless I'd done those 50 hours of training. But I followed the same method. I drew it out. I did the training, and I was able to compete in that competition, and I did well. And that's because I understood that you can decide how much time you put into something, and that's going to determine your skill level at that thing. So if you want to learn a new language and you think it might be too hard, just understand that you can learn a new language if you just put in an hour a day or 2 hours a day, and understand that it might take you 20, 30, 40 hours before you get a bit of progress. But in my opinion, the key way to do this is to track it. Putting a high number of hours into something is really hard, but using a method like this where you track it, and at the end of the week, you can tally up how many hours you put into it. That way, the next week, you can readjust your target or try and increase your efforts and match or beat that number of hours. And often at the end of the week, I'll reflect on things that worked well for me and things that didn't work well for me and what I need to change to achieve that goal next week. So feel free to use this method when you want to put some hours into something that you want to achieve. Subscribe below so we can bring you more content.